can't touch me.
So I was asking you earlier, you told me the whole story, obviously, about your heritage, because we were asking you about your colored heritage, and you told me that you come from kings and princes from all sides of the racial spectrum.
Everyone comes from kings and queens, first and foremost.
Yeah, God queen as well there. It's amazing that there's always going to be a queen in the relationship somewhere. Yeah, and then it was interesting that your father's line heritage came from a Muslim background, and your mother came from Catholic.
Yes.
So here we've got the two extremes, the people that are killing each other in Palestine and Jericho and freaking all over the place. And they're both your blood. You are very PC.
So my grandfather came from a Muslim heritage, the heritage of Muhammad, with respect or peace, and my mom and them came from the more Catholic, the Polish background, and I only found out about the Muslim heritage when I was about properly when I was in my early 20s.
Okay, I got it. I will get. I've heard the story about what your heritage.
Tell me what you need.
What I'm trying to find out is, so you were brought up basically Catholic.
That's right. Okay. Even almost going to be a Catholic priest. Almost. My godfather's a Catholic priest. My grandma went with me every other day to church.
And did you ever sit back and think, well, what is the truth? Is one of them right, or are both of them wrong? Did you ever ask yourself that question?
I think I went through the journey of discovering and asking questions and experiencing what it was all about.
What did you believe? Did you ever ask yourself what you think is the truth, or what is there belief in either of them?
I felt that I started having a relationship, or I felt I was talking to something else that was bigger than me from as far back as I can remember. So when I was a Catholic, and you would basically have confession with a Catholic priest, you go into different cubicles, confess your sins, and almost like now I look back at it, it was almost like psychology, going for your lesson and getting everything off your chest. But back then it was like you're telling the priest everything, and they got to get the okay from God, and they give you some things to do, like say 7 Hail Marys, 4 Our Fathers, blah 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 blah. So you go and you say those prayers, and at that time you think, okay, sure, those sins are forgiven because I said those prayers at the front of the church.
Yeah, that's when you're a child.
Yeah. So and then I even became a altar boy. And
did you believe? I mean, was it a routine? Was it something that you just did because your mates did, or you were in the church, you went and sang down, it was cool, and it was like the head Boy Scout?
I always went with my granny. It was something that I did with my granny.
And she was proud of you before becoming altar boy.
Yeah, I did a lot of stuff too.
But did you think about it in terms of God at that stage? Did you honesty?
I asked the priest once, how come I have to talk to you when I talk to God all the time? So I didn't know I was rocking the boat like that, because in my knowing, every time I was talking inside of myself, I was talking to God. I was connecting somehow. I don't know if that's whose perspective. That was my perspective. So that's what I asked the priest, and of course that was like I sincerely felt that God was with me all the time. Because if I'm praying to Him, I'm emotionally connecting to God when I'm talking to you. So sometimes you get so high on talking to God that you don't want to let go of that conversation.
So in other words, you had a feeling that first of all,
there is something.
There is a God.
Whatever you call it, God.
And second,
universe.
You had a relationship.
I had a relationship.
And the relationship you built through the church. How did that fit in?
There was this relationship, the silent relationship I had, what I would always call the divine.
So what was the role of the church? Did they educate you? What did they do?
Church, and I found in a way, because everything has its place. For example, church, like if you look at the school system, you have nursery school, primary school, and afterwards high school, and then college and university. And once again, there's no judgment placed on any belief system or anything else. It's just my perception. So everyone's soul is evolving, right? And sometimes some souls are born maybe more awakened, so they go straight to high school. No one's better or worse. Remember, it's like a baby is not better than someone in high school and vice versa. You know, all equal parts of the whole and the creator. But some may be in nursery school, and a lot of things in life serve their purpose. Like maybe religion could serve the purpose of a certain grade within the spiritual evolution, understanding that there is something out there, but then you get to know that God is beyond an image. So at first you think that God maybe looks, as a young person, you think that God looks like that image. Like maybe like Jesus' father. Mm-hmm. So Jesus looks like that.
Like a big beard.
And Jesus got a long hair but blue eyes and whatever. So God is older. You know, about the prayer beard and stuff. I always wondered what God looked like. I even used to draw pictures about God. I'm like, God's like the OG. Mm-hmm. You know? Mm-hmm. And I think that that relationship started when I lost my own father. So, pause.
Okay. But so the relationship you built with God was not inside the context of the church, but it was filtered through the church.
It was when I lost my own dad.
And it was based on the beliefs that are propagated by the church. It was based on the Christian faith.
At first.
Yeah.
And then it evolved into this personal relationship that is beyond any religious, any structure or definition.
Okay, and where does Jesus fit into it?
Jesus is part of the Godness. God is everything.
Yeah, okay.
So my perception of God is not an individual person or thing. Everything that exists, unseen and seen, is God. Is that, however you want to call it, God, Allah? And if the word limits the fact that I'm saying everything, you know, at a different levels of frequency and energy.
How do all of the different ideologies of different churches and different doctrines then fit together? Are they all wrong? Are they all right? Are some wrong, some right? Within the overall picture of spirituality, are there?
I think everyone believes ultimately that there is this bigger force than everyone.
Not everyone believes,
but in different. Like lately, I've been checking out stuff, and when Jewish people called Yeshua, they're talking about the return of what Jesus was, the Messiah, right? And they believe that the Messiah has not come yet. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So I didn't know specifically that that's where that beautiful belief system was all focused on. I mean, I love the Messiah. So, but I didn't know. I thought that, like, my perception is, I thought every religious belief believed in there's one true God, our God, our one God, and maybe just our perception limits us in how big we think God is, or small, or based on our own perceptions, based on what we've been through, you know, but based on how our imagination can spread.
So, God, are we created in His image?
If God in us is in any of us, we are all in His image. So everything, this is God. So we are in His image because in His, her, because even her is part of the Him that make up the whole of God. Both those energies. It's not just male.
But so it's not a physical image.
It's everything. It's male, female.
Yeah, but I'm saying within physical image, a lot of the beliefs are the biggest doctrines.
We are the physical manifestation of God.
Are we the physical manifestation of God? But then
like you said the animals are the, you know.
You said earlier that you don't see Him as this guy with a long beard floating around in space.
No, separate from us. I don't see Him as okay, just checking us all out. Okay.
But you see Him as separate from us.
No, we're one with.
Yeah.
He's the collective, the all that is out, the all and the within.
Of humanity.
Yeah. The knowing and the unknowing.
And what about the rest of creation?
There is no. It's all God.
Well, this is it. And
it's all one.
Most of the religions,
okay, let me just
have given ownership of God from a human perspective. Are there other perspectives?
Can we say that for now, based on where I'm coming from, this is how I see it. Without, this is my exclusive.
No, it's your opinion. That's all. I mean, it's
So,
your belief. I'm trying to find the same as I'm questioning from my side. Is, as you know, I'm busy writing
when we see ourselves as
gospel, and the question is the questions that I asked.
when we see ourselves as separate, we see ourselves as less than, because then that person or that person can be more than or less than. We're in this competitive nature. When we're in creative nature.
I'm with you. Okay, but that's going philosophical. I want to stay on the question of God.
Yes.
Okay, what we believe God is. Okay.
What do you believe God is?
Yeah, well, this is it.
What do you believe God is?
What do I believe God is? Yeah, that's a question which I asked. And it was from the perspectives I asked came from, is there meaning to life? That's where I started. I said, is there a meaning? A little while ago I was going through a hell of a tough time. And I sat down, is there a bloody meaning to this whole thing? Is it just we just on the hamster wheel and we just pedal as fast as we can and then we get off and we make a couple of babies and they go on? Or is there the divine plan as in the religious, the afterlife, heaven, whatever you want to call it, reincarnation, that we actually grow? Or is it actually futile? I mean, the world is in such a bad place. It doesn't seem to look it.
Yeah.
And these were questions I wanted answers to. And the first place, obviously, I turned was to the Bible. You know, I think all of us do at some stage. And I thought, started reading, and then I started doing a bit of research on it. And I thought, shit, man, let's turn around. I've read a lot about ancient civilizations and creation and stuff like that, and I thought, let's start by trying to reconcile evolution with the Bible. Okay? And that was, and I mean, within 5 minutes, half an hour of research, you find out that it's just no possible. I mean, according to the Bible, creation was 6,000, 5,000 years ago. You know what I mean? 4,500 BC. So, and that is taking from the generations and working through time, name lines in the Bible. And a lot of things, a lot of indiscrepancies, and I saw that it didn't match and nothing worked. And then I started thinking that everything that we have about us, we think that the Bible and the Ten Commandments and the Holy Scriptures underpin society or modern civilization. They give us the social structures and the laws and the integrity and honor and morality and all of it. They underpin, and that's what governs us, based on almost a spiritual intention. Without that spiritual intention, without any feeling of a creator or something, or any kind of reward in the afterlife, it would be open season. Who would care? Go and kill a couple of people, mug them, steal their stuff, and there would be no anarchy. It wouldn't matter.
So where does that belief come from?
Well, this is the point. So I started saying, okay, well, if we do believe there's a creator, that person or entity, whatever it is, would, first of all, I'd said, it would not be threatened by being scrutinized. That's the first thing. I thought we have been taught at school and faith and church, you've got to have faith. But don't ask questions. Just believe. These are the stories. You're not allowed to check these stories up. Same as politics, you know, religion, politics, and, you know, marriages.
Everyone is on a different level of evolution. From a frequency, enlightenment, awakeness point of view. It's like when you're young, you learn more. When you learn more, you learn more. I mean, with wisdom comes a lot of pain and age. It doesn't just come overnight. Some people maybe have the sight to see things, but some things take time. And we just need to be aware. Everyone needs to be more aware.
But this is the point. We look at it, we start studying religion or God, and I believe they're two different things. I mean, religion is only 6,000 years old. That's it. So the actual religion, sorry?
God is beyond religion.
Well, this is it. I'm saying what happened before 6,000 years ago.
God.
And then humanity's been around for 300,000 years at best. But maybe, let's say 3 million years. The Earth has been around, the solar system has been around for 4.5 billion years. The Earth has been around for 4 billion years, 3.5 billion years. So we're talking immense periods of time, you know. And in that, are we saying, well, God only woke up, is in hibernation until that period, until it actually religion? So it doesn't make sense.
Does religion serve a purpose?
it serves a purpose, but not what people believe it has. And this is, again, it's very powerful. Of course it is. It's believing in our most fundamental beliefs of spirituality in the afterlife. What happens to us after we die?
What do you think happens afterwards?
That's a long question. We'll get there.
No, I think because
that comes to
I
what
do
I
know.
that will come to. I will tell you that when I tell you what I believe God is.
Okay, cool.
Okay, which
let's
is
go.
way down. It's first of all the way I actually thought about it.
Okay, let's go.
You know, so we're going.
So we're going on a ride. Let's go.
Well, we'll get back to it. But I'm just telling you the questions I asked. So that was the first thing I said. I said, from a creative point of view, it cannot be a human perspective. It cannot, having an entity that has created the universe, that has been running, and we have only arrived on the last half a meter of a commoners marathon. And then saying that has defined God's intent for the whole time. And he's, over that period of time, he's come up with these amazing rules, which have all been how to humankind to survive. Because that's what all the Ten Commandments, all the Bible lessons are setting humans as the ultimate entity on the planet. We're not part of creation.
We're a pulse.
We are the fucking Godfather. We are sitting, this is our toy, man, and no one turns around and screws us. And every single thing that exists on this is our toy, is for us to use and then later abuse. So this starts saying, okay, well, if I was a God, and forget the area of punishment and what's right or wrong. This is the next thing. I started saying, well, the laws that we come from the Bible and stuff, they tell us what's right and wrong. If thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, don't kill, blah, 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 blah. These things are all human-related. They are not universal laws. They wouldn't apply to an ant, or they wouldn't apply to an albatross, or they wouldn't apply to a dinosaur at some stage. It's not a universal law like Newton's law of physics.
Yes.
You know, it's a law that, hey, you do that. It looks after humanity.
Yes.
As long as it's human, you can do what you like, you know, except don't scale it, you know.
Yes.
If it's given to you, it's fine, you know what I mean? Buy it. You know? So we put all these laws in place, and we say that they are God's law. And we start reading back and finding out who wrote the Bible, for instance. That we said it was given to Moses. The first 5 books were given to Moses on the Sinai Peninsula, on top of Mount Sinai, when Moses went up there, when all of the Jews in the desert were going with sugar now. And doing research, it seems unlikely that, first of all, we couldn't find any proof of the Exodus. It doesn't exist archaeologically. They couldn't find finds. So then I started finding out by the history. And you find out that the origins of the first 5 books are thought to have been written after the Jews came back from being in slavery in Babylon and freed by Nebuchadnezzar. And there are 5 different trains of thought. It looks like there are 5 different scribes involved. So these things were written in a way to galvanize a nation that had been in slavery twice in the last 1,000 years, or couple of thousand years. So the book, and this has taken us faith. If we turn around, Nelson Mandela in 2 generations' time will be seen as a prophet. He'll be seen as a demigod. You won't mark my words. Because history does that. It starts embellishing and creating. So we create these faiths, and all of them, are they wrong? That is a very complicated question, and no. The answer is no, they're not. But the way they are actually integrated is much more complex and much more magnificent than we think. Okay? So these stories came, and I started finding holes in the story. And I started saying, well, shit, this doesn't look as though fact. There's areas all over. It looks like a history book of the Israeli nation, which I think it is. Okay, and divine. Divinity is another question which comes on to what we believe God is. But I started thinking, if these things don't stay story, I thought, Jesus, does that make me not believe in God? Does that make me an atheist? And then I realized that I was asking the wrong question. I was trying to reconcile the Bible with evolution.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't. I should have been trying to reconcile a creator, a God, with evolution. And that's a very different picture. The Bible are stories. It's God goes synonymous with creation. So I started looking deeply into the origins of the universe. from the Big Bang, and obviously trying to look behind that. There's some interesting theories on that as well. But going from there into the explosion, 13.85 billion years ago, formation of the galaxies, Milky Way, and this process of events that led to us as humanity being here at the moment. And you look at the incredible coincidences or crazy things, that just things that had to happen for us to be here. And you realize that that could not have evolved without some kind of consciousness creating it, holding it in context. It is too perfect, it is too well defined, from mass extinction events to planets hitting Earth, being hit by another planet, which put Earth into the orbit in between Venus and Mars and set it up in the Goldilocks belt so it could sustain water. Comets coming, bringing water, comets bringing the building blocks of life.
It's too amazing.
Into a time, mass extinction taking old first life forms out, making way for the dinosaurs, taking them out, creating the space for mammals, and the story exists. And all of these come to us now, and mass extinction events that have happened since humanity has been around, that have actually purified the gene. And that's a horrible thing to say, but it's a fact.
It's hectic, though. It's like
life, in the existence of life, whether it's manufactured or not, is where we are now, and that's another question. And a question which comes to where we are as spiritually, I think, believe. And that's the point. Because people have looked at this and they said, okay, religion, we're now technologically in a position where we look at the stories out of the Bible, and even the miracles could be fabricated in Las Vegas. We're no longer impressed by tricks. We're no longer impressed by special tricks. And no one has come up with the answer to the truth. The existence of a relationship with God stopped 2,000 years ago. And they said, okay, that's it. It's a wrap. The book is written. Now we do this. From now on, we believe this. It's not a dynamic relationship. We say, no, hold it. To go to God, we've got to go through one of the multi-religion, whether it's Hindu
you go through yourself.
Whatever. If we don't, but we don't. That's the channeling. And that has got a right. Of course it's got a place. Because it's a community. It's a community, and it channels the vibrations of the universe through people, but they do not understand. They think that prayer's affirmation will come to that. And it's equally as good.
Power.
I'm not looking down. I'm not slating it.
Thought is power.
It's not right or wrong. This is the other thing. We looked at God and we said, okay, what is right or wrong? And right or wrong is a matter of perspective
And belief.
It's perspective. It's not belief, bro. I turn around and sorry.
Belief with perspective is truth to you, because that's how you see it and you believe that.
But from the other person's, you go and beat up someone because they swore at your child. Okay. From your perspective, it's justified. From that child, there's millions of perspectives. So the right and wrong, the night and day, which is right, which is wrong, black and white, which is right and which is wrong, they're just different perspectives.
That's right.
That's right. And life is like that. So there's no such thing as even the act of murder. Murder is not right or wrong.
What if God...
And sometimes it's honorable in war. And sometimes it's justified. Someone rapes your mother, you've got a reason to be pissed off about it. Okay. And sometimes it's acceptable or advisable, protecting yourself. So the only time it was premeditated and for a selfish end is actually wrong.
So this is the question that I asked. What if God was experiencing him, herself through each one of us all the time in all these different ways?
Well, first of all,
because God is so magnificent.
The first thing you're saying, if God is experiencing himself.
Herself against himself.
Okay, so we are again saying we expect God to evaluate these situations based on our consciousness and our understanding.
Beyond.
But we do it. We think because that's how we always define anything. That's how we use language. We use language to communicate, which means we associate meaning to words. That's how we structure meaning. But there's no absolute meaning on a situation. That mirror is described as a mirror so you can understand it. But is that the absolute essence of the mirror?
Let me ask you a question. Is there a way when you completely step out of your own thoughts and your own habitual thoughts and behaviors, in that one moment, some people call it meditation, whatever, you tune in to as pure or clear a vibration that you are in a godliness state because you're clear, and at the same time you could think about the worst murder or turmoil, and and continuously focus on that and feel a certain way. So, thought with emotion.
That is the result of. But the question where I was looking is what is. I didn't want to say what is the result. I can explain the manifestations and all of these and the symptoms. I wanted to answer the question. I wanted to know what is there. Was it mind or matter first? Was there a consciousness that brought about creation? Was there a consciousness that evolved with creation, or was there no consciousness at all? Was it just exploding big piece of rock that went bosses into the universe and just spiraling out of control?
What about the fact that, and I stand to be corrected, our known universe says whatever, our 1% of 0.04% of everything, the rest is dark matter. And I stand to be corrected, but...
Yeah, dark matter is 85% of known matter.
So what is dark matter?
Dark
Why is there light in this dark?
Well, this is the point. This is where the question
They're
comes
both
in.
part of the...
Well, dark matter can be seen for the result it has on galaxies. What it is they see that spiraling galaxies, the outer stars, at the speed that they are spiraling around, they should be flying into space.
And they're pulling in, while
pulling
something's pushing out at the same time, simultaneously.
No, their weight is pulling. It's just
the whole...
Newtonian pushing them out. But there's some force pulling them back towards the center. And they cannot see. There's no body. It looks like a force that is exerted by a body, a very massive body, in fact. And it looks because it's pulling it towards the center, okay? And because it cannot be detected, they call it dark matter. But 85% of the matter in the universe is dark matter. And the same as dark energy. Dark energy, the universe is shooting out from a central point, right?
No, 94%, 96% in fact is dark matter.
Whatever. I think it's about 85. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's 80, 90, and the same as dark energy, but dark energy is different. Dark energy is all of the universe. Boom, big bang. These things are moving off into space, right?
There's one pushing out, pushing in. Two different.
Well, they should be slowing down as they're going further out. But they're not, bro. They're speeding up. And they only can be exerted if there are force on the perimeter that's pulling them all out, 3D, spherical, or a force from the center pushing out, and that is 90-odd% of all of the energy in the universe. So we've got 90% of the energy cannot be seen or detected except by the result it has on the universe, and 90% of the matter, 85 to 90% of the matter cannot be detected except by the force that it has on the universe. And then just another curveball is there are neutrinos that are coming out of the sun and stuff like that. And these things, billions, are flying through us as we talk. Right now.
Truth.
Right through us. Boom, right through us. They don't stop for matter.
Because we are, at some level, if you look at us with a microscope, we're all just energy.
Well, again, all these words are used to describe a way that we can measure what is. In other words, we look at law. What we look at a torch and light, and we say, "What is it?" Okay, so we find its wavelengths, and we can explain, and it behaves in a certain way.
But it still is beyond those words.
They're words. They're words. So all of these words that we associate, and spiritual, and divine, and all of these words are words that help us create a picture of a relationship, or let us describe. But what is the reality? What is the reality? Do we believe the same thing as what? This is where on my journey, which is I'll come into a thing, but this is just a fast tracking thing, is I got to the point and said, we are sitting, we see mind, matter or energy and spirituality in different silos, okay? Matter is a silo, we can see it, okay? Energy and spirituality, we cannot see energy. Whether it's spiritual energy, electrical energy, electromagnetic, whatever, it cannot be seen. We can see what it does.
Can we feel it?
Okay. Well, of course we can feel it. Fucking kill you. But is spiritual anymore? But we take this and we've broken that into a silo. We say, right, that's for Saturdays and Sundays. That's how we behave on Saturday. And this is where we be good. And this is where we think about Hinduism, Muslim, Judaism, and we associate what they believe is a relationship of a story of a person as the overall and all-holding story of an entity that was there before the Big Bang as a consciousness. The question that we want to know is, what is that entity?
How do we define
How
it?
does it, and how do we define what happened at the beginning of creation? And it's a long story, but I get there at the end.
I got it here.
But is to say that, does the universe break thought and mind and mental energy into silos?
Or it just is?
Is it all combined? If mind, matter, and spirit were interchangeable, we know that matter can be converted into energy and energy can be converted into matter. Well, I think it can. But I know matter can be converted. That's nuclear fission and nuclear fusion.
Yep.
But if, hypothetically, instead of saying that all of these things is spirituality and things that aren't explained, is a separate entity, the supernatural, the extraterrestrial, all of these were extraterrestrial, something else, but the supernatural and things that are unexplained, esoteric. If that was part of the equation of life, the universe, that mind, matter, and spirit were one, which means your creation in the first place was not a Big Bang. It wasn't a Las Vegas stunt. It was a change of state. There were times where there was more spirit. There was a time where there was more matter, and there's times, and they are like a flow, like a lava lamp.
It's like a click, like a pulse. In a song.
Again, that's what we want to do. We want to compartmentalize.
I know, but we can never
We want to put it into
define.
a shell and be able to describe it and dissect it and analyze
and even
it.
That, even what we can imagine is just a part of what it could be, because we can never define.
We should be looking at the bigger picture and saying, hold it. This is not, it doesn't define. We're trying to define our understanding of a creator by our understanding of what has animated life. That's where our starting point is. It's got to be a life kind of thing. It can't be a gas. Huh?
The most important thing is, where did that lead you? Because that's, I think, a common question for everyone.
It goes to what the meaning of life.
Yeah.
It goes to the meaning of life.
So where did you find yourself going?
We'll cover it the next time. We'll come back to the meaning.
Wow, that's like, you want to know more, because we all have different ways of looking at it. See you next time. If you don't see me, best believe you're gonna hear me.